Hey, we made it! We survived a whole year on YouTube. Sure, we may still be pretty tiny, but I think we did good, all things considered. We didn't get cancelled, which is an achievement this year, for some reason. But still, a whole year. Wow. I think this calls for a special kind of video. It needs to be something good, though. Something that'll make an impact. Or, actually, does it have to? I just want to do it on something fun. Maybe even experiment a little bit? Huh. Wait, why does the video look funny? That sure is a lot of empty space. Kinda making me nervous. You know what? Actually, we could use this. Yeah, this is giving me some ideas. It's been a while since I've been able to try some new video techniques. As for the channel's video, well... You know what? You can't go wrong with a bit of Pokemon. Alright, I think I know what we're gonna do today. But first, let's get our surroundings in order. No point having all this space and not use it, right? Hello and welcome everyone! If this is your first time watching me, then hi! I'm Fiona Apollo, your resident vodka aunt. Today I'm going to be designing some Hisui forms for some Pokemon leading up to the release of Pokemon Legends of Arceus. I refuse to say Arceus, don't at me. This video was originally a collab with a friend, but unfortunately, everything just seems to pile on whenever we try to do stuff. I have a gigantic commission with a ridiculous deadline right now, and he has a new job, a new house, and the poor guy caught a cold before any recording could happen. God damn it. We still want to collab in the future, but I had already made all of the assets for this video and I didn't really have a backup plan due to working so much lately, so luckily all that was left was the script and the editing, however long that takes. This thing is like 4K and it's being rendered on a bloody pizza box. I hope this gets out at a reasonable time. Anyway, let's talk about the actual designs. They were all really fun to think of. Some came out a bit better than others, as is usually the case, and probably the hardest part about them was thinking up some actual concepts. Because the Hisui region is basically ancient Japan, and well, the series is already Japanese and has a lot of Japanese influences in the designs already, it was a bit of a toughie actually thinking of some that looked good, you know what I mean? I'm really excited for this new game. Gen 4 isn't my favourite region sadly, I am a Hoenn baby, but the aesthetic, the ideas, the characters, the designs are all stunning so far. Except for that stupid Arceus phone. Of course everybody had a smartphone in the old days. Your history books have clearly been lying to you. But yeah, as someone who was a gigantic weeb as a kid and really tried to learn as much about Japan as she could as a form of escapism, I did try to hark back to some really cool aspects or references that reminded me of that time, where the biggest thing I had to worry about was not falling asleep waiting for the release of the next big anime of the season, as opposed to now, when I'm getting depressed watching the news. And I like to think I came up with some good ones, so I hope you enjoy. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Okay, let's begin! So the first design I wanted to try out was the Sinistea line, and I know this is a bit of an obvious one, but hey, we're celebrating a milestone here. We can be a bit self-indulgent if we want to be. I just thought it would be a cute idea to have it resemble a Japanese tea set. So we actually have a tea set tucked away in the kitchen cupboard somewhere that I begged my mum to buy when I was like 13, and we would have these little like self-care evenings where we would both put on a face mask and make tea using it, and it was our own homemade version of a tea ceremony kind of. But yeah, that was the basic inspiration for this one. The other aspect of this design is the Japanese practice known as kitsugi, which is the art of repairing shattered pottery by filling the cracks in with gold. This is intended to give the piece a renewed sense of life as a piece of art, as well as to add to the object's history. So with that in mind, I did give both Sinistea and Poltergeist these more traditional shapes, and to be completely honest, I wasn't really sure what to do with Sinestea's face, since a lot of the cups tend to be pretty simple in design, or at the least they have patterns that don't really utilise a lot of lines, so it kind of looked a bit tacked on, but the design of the cup itself I quite like. I think it looks good. Poltergeist is the better of the two, I think, in terms of design. I think it looks very cute. It has a little scar where its other eye is because I was thinking of its lore and how this little spirit might have latched onto it because they were both hurt or broken. If you have any sort of interest in the paranormal with ghosts, a common speculation is that they latch onto objects that they share some kind of affiliation or kinship with. Actually, this kind of makes me feel a bit bad. Poor little ghost. But moving on. So the typing for these two would actually be Ghost and Steel, like Igslash, purely because of the gold aspect, and I was thinking that the gold could work similarly to Runigrius, where it allows them to pull the pottery apart to make themselves look bigger and scarier, either for malicious or for mischievous purposes, who knows. Also, in regards to the original designs, they would have an authenticity stamp, I just didn't think to draw it into the picture because I'm dumb and forgetful and overworked and I just want to go to bed. But here they are. As said before, I think they look very cute, and honestly now I just want to protect the poor little poltergeist. Why did I give it that bad eye? Now I just feel cruel. The second design is Hisui and Roserade, and I decided to make Roserade a grass water type and switch out its titular roses for lotus flowers. And the kicker with this form is that you have to use the shiny stone while surfing on a lake, which I thought would just be cool since lotuses tend to live on the water's surface. The reason I chose this one is because for starters, Roserade was always one of my go-tos in the original Gen 4 games. It was the first Pokemon that I managed to train up to level 100 without cheats, and plus it already had a lot of established fan art where people would use different flowers that served as the inspiration for both this Pokemon choice and design. So I used the lotus because in Japan, the lotus symbolizes a lot of things such as purity, perseverance, and the cycle of life and death. The lotus has a lot of reverence in Buddhist beliefs for its ability to thrive in often dirty waters while still maintaining a beautiful bloom. And to me that fits in very well for Roserade, who was often one of my most utilised team members and was often trained from being a Budew, so it kind of fainted a lot before evolving. As far as abilities go, I think it would still have the natural cure ability for the most part, which cures status conditions when switching out. I'd also probably give it the water absorb ability, which turns water into HP. I wanted to see if I could push the more femme aspects in Roserade's design, keeping in line with the setting, so I made its original cape design longer to resemble a kimono, and also added some long sleeves to resemble lily pads. The idea was to have it look like a geisha basically. It's a geisha, okay? And because it's based on geisha, I kind of figured that this version of Roserade would act very similarly to Meloetta, in which it would prioritize more sound or dance-based attacks since geishas are most notably performers. So moves like Rain Dance or Sing would last a couple extra turns with this Pokemon. In order to hark back to the water aspect, I did try to use more bluey teal greens as opposed to more acidic greens, as well as to offset the brightness of the flower petals. It's not a huge difference, but I think it works. Honestly, I like this design, but I think I played it a bit safe. I would have probably pushed it a bit further somehow, like giving it some kind of instrument, since most geishas tend to be musical performers, or something. I don't know, just anything to kind of enunciate that a little bit more. But yeah, it's a cute design. I like it. Finally, let's take a look at Hisui and Absol. Now, this one has a bit more thought put into it because it's basically a reference to one of my most favourite games ever, Okami. Okay, so a bit of background. Okami is a game where you play as the sun goddess Amaterasu in the form of a wolf, as you travel across ancient Japan exorcising demons and blessing the land and people that you come across. The game incorporates a lot of Japanese myths and legends, including the 3-inch hero Isen, the Mochi Moon Rabbit, and Princess Kaguya. It was also a really cool game on the Nintendo Wii, especially because you would have to use what is called the Celestial Brush in-game. So basically, you would influence the world as a god by drawing on the screen to slash rocks apart, repair bridges, make the sun appear in the sky, and so on. I could probably go on and on about this game for days, and if I could, I would absolutely stream a playthrough because I bought it for the Switch last year and it is such a nostalgia trip. Unfortunately, I have a Switch Lite because I'm poor, and you can't stream on those, so it probably won't happen. Why must the world be so cruel? But yeah, you can probably guess the influence behind this Absol's design now. This new form's typing would change to Fairy, I think, and I thought for a bit of Pokédex lore, this Absol, instead of being an omen for natural disasters, if anyone was lucky enough to see it in their lifetime, it would bring them immeasurable luck and fortune. This Pokemon would reside in caves, which calls back to the original tale of Amaterasu, who hid in a cave after getting annoyed with her brother Susanu's antics, which, relatable, but this would result in the sun being hidden away so long as she stayed in there. So eventually she had to be lured out by the other gods. I can imagine this happening but with other Pokemon when it comes to Absol. The crown on its head is also a sun god reference and was made to contrast the single horn the original Absol design has. I incorporated the swirly brush design of Wolf Amaterasu's fur in the game and also changed the colour scheme from navy to gold to reference the fortune bit again. I don't think you need to guess that this is probably my favourite to design purely because of how much I love Okami as a game, but I did really enjoy this one and I think the design is cool as hell. And you can fight me on that. Seriously, fight me. I could really do with being knocked the fuck out right now, not gonna lie. And those are some Hisui and Pokemon designs that I thought would be cool to show you all. To be honest, I just thought it would be a nice callback to the fact that this channel's first ever video was a Pokemon challenge. It feels bizarre that I've been doing this for a year now, even though I do try to make an effort to see what's doing well and what's going on in the art YouTuber / art commentary sphere. This channel is like a weird therapy session where I come to remind myself to just make things I like, and that despite everything that happened since the pandemic, what I'm doing and what I create isn't a waste of time, even if I'm the only person who really benefits from it. This was really fun to make, and even though I'm sad that I couldn't do it as a collab with a friend, there will always be another chance to do that in the future. But in any case, thank you so much for watching, and if you liked what you just saw, maybe consider liking and subscribing. Please let me know if you liked the designs, the format of the video, or anything else. I wouldn't mind doing a few more 360 videos at some point. They're a lot of fun to make and figure out. If you like the sound of that, then please sound off in the comments. Until next time, stay safe everyone. Bye!